Let your shoulders drop a little more.
Oh! J'ai l'impression qu'il m'a arraché la tête.
Those were real good. That was been tight for a minute. Upper half is okay. Now down here.
Les amis, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, c'est parti, je me rends à la salle de ma résidence à pied parce qu'on est quand même à côté, même pas 5 minutes de marche. Donc ça me fait un petit peu mon cardio en guise d'échauffement. Et puis c'est vrai que quand même c'est super agréable, hein, j'avoue. Donc je continue à aller à Elevation Fitness que je vous ai présenté, qui est quand même à 30 minutes de chez moi, mais j'y vais 3 fois par semaine. Et vu que je m'entraîne 6 fois, je fais moitié mes entraînements ici à la salle de la résidence et l'autre moitié à Elevation. Donc tout ce qui est training épaules, je le fais ici à la salle de la résidence parce que ça me suffit largement. J'ai quand même, vous allez voir, hein, de quoi faire avec la barre guidée notamment, puis toutes les haltères, les poulies. Pour les épaules, franchement, ça me suffit. En plus, je fais aussi un petit peu de cardio hit sur, disons, les appareils cardio ici. Je travaille aussi le cou toujours, trapèze aussi. Donc ça me suffit largement. Pour tout ce qui est séance bras aussi, ici ça me suffit largement. Pour les pecs, c'est vrai que je pourrais aussi me contenter de rester là parce que j'avoue qu'avec la barre guidée, les haltères qui montent jusqu'à 100, alors c'est vrai que 100 c'est 100 pounds, c'est limite on va dire. Donc je fais généralement une deuxième séance pec à Elevation, mais j'avoue ça pourrait suffire. Alors effectivement pour la séance jambes ici c'est pas suffisant, j'ai besoin de plus que ça. Donc du coup à Elevation je fais une bonne séance. Sinon qu'est-ce que je fais d'autre? Du coup le dos à Elevation c'est vrai que c'est le top. Je refais une deuxième séance dos ici à la salle de la résidence, mais moins intense parce que c'est vrai que j'ai pas grand chose à part poulie haute, poulie basse et puis la barre guidée. C'est vrai que voilà, éventuellement haltère pour faire du rowing, j'ai pas les machines qu'il faudrait. Donc je fais une bonne grosse séance dos à Elevation et une plus petite séance ici. Et puis en ce qui concerne mes douleurs de dos, ça va un petit peu mieux j'avoue depuis que je fais tous les jours ma table d'inversion. Donc ça je vous en avais parlé dans une vidéo précédente et je continue tous les jours à la faire. Donc quelques minutes, enfin plutôt quelques secondes même, 3 fois par jour généralement. Et c'est vrai que ça m'aide beaucoup, pas mal d'étirements aussi. Et puis voilà, ça va un petit peu mieux. Donc assez content j'avoue. Et puis là j'ai repris le chiro, mais j'en ai trouvé un meilleur. Donc je vais vous montrer tout ça après ma séance. Donc on ira ensemble chez ce fameux chiro qui est du coup assez jeune, que j'ai rencontré à Elevation, qui m'a proposé de me faire une séance gratuitement. Et puis que du coup lui aussi il a des réseaux sociaux et tout ça, une chaîne YouTube. Donc c'était l'occasion de partager ça avec lui. Donc c'est une collaboration finalement. C'est plutôt cool, on s'est plutôt bien entendu. Donc on va vous montrer tout ça. Il va nous montrer quelques techniques qu'il utilise généralement avec ses athlètes. Et du coup je vais vous présenter tout ça après ma séance. Mais tout d'abord ça va être séance épaules ici à la salle de la résidence. Donc c'est parti, hop. Donc comme je disais tout à l'heure, pour les épaules, j'ai largement le choix. Ça me suffit ici avec la barre guidée, tout le rack d'haltères ici. J'ai quelques poids aussi. J'ai les poulies vis-à-vis qui sont top. J'ai un butterfly ici inversé. Donc c'est vrai que tout ça, ça me suffit largement pour faire une bonne séance épaules. Mais avant, j'aime bien quand même continuer un petit peu de cardio face à la vue. Même s'il fait pas très beau aujourd'hui, c'est quand même assez inspirant. Donc c'est parti. Donc après j'ai cette salle aussi ici qui est cool, où je peux m'échauffer au TRX notamment. Je fais souvent aussi mes abdos ici, avec la vue. Et là je peux faire aussi du posing. C'est une salle de cours de temps en temps, il y a des cours ici. Donc ça fait partie de notre communauté et on a accès aussi aux cours collectifs, mais uniquement pour les gens d'ici, de la communauté. Après, j'aime bien utiliser ici ces attaches poignets pour les élévations latérales notamment, puis pour l'arrière d'épaule et tout ça, donc ça c'est bien pratique. C'est parti. Et ici, c'est poli. Séance épaules finie les amis, ça fait du bien. Comme quoi ici à la résidence, je peux quand même faire des super séances. C'est quand même super agréable de pouvoir ensuite venir ici au soleil, en plein hiver. Il y a des gens qui se baignent d'ailleurs. Ici c'est toujours chaud. Hop, la première séance c'est le Pro CGT ici. Donc dedans vous connaissez, il y a déjà la créatine, la glutamine, la taurine. C'est un tout en un. C'est top, c'est pratique surtout. Hop là. Prendre une petite douche et ensuite ça sera direction le chiro pour me remettre un petit peu en place et puis me réajuster un petit peu. Je vous montre tout ça tout à l'heure. Bon les amis, c'est vrai que comme vous savez, depuis quelques temps, je cherche des solutions pour améliorer, disons, mon confort quotidien parce qu'avec mon dos qui me fait toujours mal, ces derniers mois, j'avais vraiment beaucoup de douleurs. Rien que pour marcher, tout ça, ça me faisait mal. Ça me faisait aussi une sciatique qui me descendait jusque dans la jambe et c'est vrai que c'est un peu l'enfer. Pour tous ceux qui connaissent un petit peu ça. Donc voilà, tout ça évidemment c'est lié à mon opération de mon hernie discale d'il y a plus de 5 ans maintenant et toutes les complications que j'avais eues. Et c'est vrai que malheureusement j'ai toujours des douleurs encore aujourd'hui et du coup j'essaye de ne pas m'entraîner trop lourd pour certains exercices, de ne pas forcer évidemment sur tout ce qui est rowing, buste penché ou sur des squats ou sur des soulevés de terre. Ça j'ai banni et j'essaye de faire des exercices où j'ai toujours le buste en soutien du coup pour ne pas qui est de compression sur mes disques justement et mon dos. Donc voilà, c'est parti les amis, je vous montre tout ça en détail, tout ce qu'il va faire. Donc ça va être en anglais, je vais essayer de tout traduire. Vous allez voir, il va faire tout un tas de trucs ici. Donc non seulement il fait du réajustement, mais je vais avoir aussi des ondes de choc et puis tout un tas de traitements. Donc aujourd'hui ça va être un gros traitement d'une 45 minutes à 1 heure. Dr. Dan, hello doctor, how are you?
Well, how are you? Nice to have, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course.
And I know you do a lot of athletes here, bodybuilder.
I do a lot of bodybuilders, I do a lot of fitness influencers, whatever it is. Wow. Bodies need work, and this is probably the easiest way to take care of the body with mechanics like what I do. You said you had a shoulder thing going on, right?
Yeah, shoulder pain and of course back pain because I told you like 6 years ago now I had a surgery, so it's called herniectomy, but I got a bacteria. So the bacteria ate my bones, discs. I stayed 4 months at the hospital back in the day, and I had a corset, you know, and it took me like almost 1 year to recover, to be able to walk again.
That was a bad time.
Very bad time. So as of today, I still feel the pain. Sometimes it's worse than other day. After
an infection like that, you don't really know what's going to happen to the bones because there could be deterioration of the bone, the cartilage, and the herniation itself that's been removed. But I'm going to try to help stretch and take pressure off of nerve structures, the joints in the back. And so chiropractic, you've been to a chiropractor before, so we're going to do some fun moving the joints around today. We'll see what manipulations we can do to that shoulder to not injure that tissue, but to make it sit in its normal posture. And then we'll have some more fun with some myofascial, some shockwave, lasers, magnets, and radio frequency machines, which are all different and new to this office for the most part, to see how we can make that shoulder feel better, that low back move better, and you to heal in a natural position, okay?
Perfect, that sounds good.
Do you have any issues when you move your neck around? Particularly, not really?
I don't think so, no.
With your shoulders, bringing them up and back, do you have any limitations, stresses, or pains? Give yourself a small hug here. Rotational movements, any rotator cuff troubles?
Yeah, this one, when I do that, it's a little bit painful.
So down on the top, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The bicipital tendon is that front spot here, and so naturally front raises are going to be an issue when that's inflamed. So what it looks like here is this little groove. So that bicipital tendon goes to the supraglenoid fossa up here and kind of tracks down, of course creates biceps flexion and shoulder flexion too. There's a lot of congestion and inflammation around these areas for most bodybuilders, and that's why we say we stop benching or you stop having these abilities, let alone shoulders rounding forward. Opening it up is very valuable. So joint position is one thing just as much as reducing the tension and stress and inflammation on these spots, which we'll take care of today. I'm pretty confident that'll feel nice. So right there, so that spot that you're pointing to, so when I look at this little spine model here, so that spot is relatively right around here. So was it L5-S1 discectomy that they did?
Yeah,
the
both.
hernia. So it's basically the bottom one, so you have two of them, right?
Two
levels. So these two levels, so providing that space and opening it up will take that pressure away from the nerve, which is what's causing the pain for most of us, okay? But go ahead and take your shoes off, Julian, and we're gonna go ahead and lay face down. I'm gonna do the first thing is kind of feel your back, see where the tension and stresses are coming from, and provide that stretch to the lower back, okay? This one's a little shorter than this one, only by like a smidgen, and I've seen so many legs to know the difference. Now, does that bother you right in this lower half? So your hip joints are here, right? We have these two hip bones, and we're kind of palpating from sacrum L5, L4, L3, L2, L1. So sometimes you can pop these things right away. Other times you need to kind of go in and do the stretching first and things to relax the tension around there. So this is called lumbar flexion distraction. So this table has this feature that it spaces down and away. We want to take pressure off the rest of the disc here, push down the ankles. How's that stretch for you, Julian?
It's good.
It's okay?
Yeah.
It can be irritating at times, especially when I'm pushing in the back. We're providing real mechanical leverage, opening space to hydrate that disc. So anatomy is what matters most when it comes down to why your pain is there. Fix the anatomy, fix the alignment, and take the pressure away mechanically. On most of my patients who have low back issues, whether it's bulging discs or herniated discs, this would be my #1 start with them to open that space and also allow the low back to move better. Pressure's okay?
Yeah.
You know you need it. So after that little bit of stretching, what I'd like to do next is the clicker tool adjusting style. So that's all good. I'm going to bring this down. We're going to extend that back a little bit more.
C'est la première fois que je fais ça quand même.
So this little guy is another way to impact the tissues, whether it's the muscles in the hip, which sometimes feel a little bit sore and rough after leg day. I know you're working out a lot, I know that.
Yes.
Extending is usually the most safest direction for the spine. Flexion is usually where we provide, you know, the kind of irregular stresses that can be detrimental to the longevity of a spine. So let's see what that did for the legs, if the length has changed at all. They look pretty darn good. I think that lengthened that leg really nicely after stretching the lower back. So if the cause was a nerve herniation, whatnot, or disc herniation on the nerve, I think we're gonna have a good change. Good, I'm not gonna twist, but bend. A little more. Good job, a nice release in that hip. So the first placement was right on the hip joint. Now we're gonna go a lumbar segment above that. A little more. Good job, we got a little release in there, I like it. Now, as we get a little older, we start looking at our phones a little too much, and we've always been doing that as a young kid too. Let your shoulders drop a little more.
Oh.
Whew. That was an open release. I love that feeling there. Those were real good. That was been tight for a minute. There's other things I could do for the low back to help relax that, okay? Putting pressure right on the hip flexor and dragging it down is another feature to release and take that pressure off the low back, okay? I don't make you suffer that long. When you think about it, you count the seconds, you're like, wait a second, that wasn't too bad. Oh man, I felt that one kind of jump on you. That's real pain. Don't let me move your elbow this way. I'm gonna try to pull it forward, resist. Harder. 1, 2, good. That was a nice release. Let's try one over here, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's much better than before when I bend. I don't feel as much as before.
That's beautiful. All right, so now that we've done some adjustments for Julian, we found out that we took care of some of the joint restrictions and some mobility enhancements for you there too. I have other high power machines that can help to facilitate the inflammatory reactions to drop the pain and help with function and mobility of you too. If there was nerve issues still going on, this laser over here might be something that you'll like to use. This is one that goes up to 100 watts of intensity. What we're going to do first is it needs me to check your skin color, and we are ready to go. What I would like to do for Julian is you'd like to try a little bit of your lower back on this laser, is that right? So right now we're going to have about 80 watts of peak power, average power 52, 12,000 joules of energy over the course of 4.5 minutes, okay?
Première fois que je teste ça, on va voir ce que c'est au laser.
So this is not painful at all, okay? So what we're going to do is shine this flashlight on the back, okay? So this is more of the sophisticated laser. This won't burn you, so if I stop moving it, you wouldn't get burned. I'm able to at least stimulate tissues up to 2 inches in depth with 5 different wavelengths. Those wavelengths range from 660 nanometers to 1064 nanometers. So this is what we have. So you can see the kind of bars going up and down, that red one to that gray one. So we have those frequencies running on you. The deepest one is at 800 nanometers. So applying that to the tissue, you imagine how deep those nerves are. It's not just skin deep. We have those red light therapies that people will lay on, the red light beds. That might go about a centimeter or less into the tissue, depends on what kind of tissue you were talking about. This will help to regenerate bone, nerve, muscle, ligament, all the tissues in there that need metabolic enhancements to regenerate. You're going to have that effect in the lower back. Naturally, it's a gentle treatment, so by no means you're going to feel pain with this one or my radio frequency that we'll talk about and use next. We have a shoulder thing that we still need to get to. I want to see if this radio frequency has that effect for you. My next machine that we're going to use for you is the radio frequency at 448 kilohertz. This metal plate is going to receive as the neutral, as the ground, okay? So it feels a little tingly at first. I will like to get a small reaction out of you so you can actually feel what this machine does. So applying this radio frequency to the tissue, naturally you get a much faster healing response. If it gets hot, that's what I want, okay?
That's hot, yes. Sans l'électricité en même temps, de la chaleur.
Oh, tingles there. It really grabs that muscle. This machine also does something funny. It actually makes you more shredded if and when we want to try it. So I would do this like the week prior to going on stage, just as much as continuing to thin yourself when you're on your cutting phase. Okay. You want your tissues to be turned metabolically on, make it active. That's how the fat tissue becomes burned off, okay? I would love to say, wow, look at your abs right after, but it does take some time. Yeah, 4 sessions at 15 minutes would be really ideal to get your belly more toned.
What's next?
So what's next? So I have a couple ways to mush up and beat up the tissues a little bit, because if there's still restrictions within that shoulder joint, that capsule, I can try to lymphatically drain it, hammer it through, flatten it, so it should have that better mobility going up and through. Your low back might really like this shockwave, so I'm going to do a little bit of shockwave to the low back, a little bit to that shoulder, okay?
Donc c'est parti pour les ondes de choc. Pour épaules et le dos.
So this shockwave has a nice feature to it. You see this right here? It's like a little, you barely see anything. Yeah, it does not too bad. But applying that to the tissue, it hurts a little bit.
It's weird because it's painful and in the same time it's
relaxing.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
What I can show you next is a little bit of myofascial blading. It's one of my more favorite techniques for moving tissues. If we need to stretch that more, I'll just bring the arm out here and go up and through the layers, okay? Just 10, 9, 8, 7. That feels great. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I want your back to be super loose and free after all of this. Is it okay?
Yeah.
What this really does for the joint is it does free up the tissues surrounding it, so you have that mobility that can come back. Doing a little bit of the glutes, it's not a nice spot to do because it hurts, right?
Oh yeah, this one hurts.
I like to have people stretch purposefully with this blading technique. So whether you're sitting and stretching forward or this, watch this. Take this arm, pass it underneath this elbow for thread the needle. So a little bit of rotation, you get components in the thoracic spine and working through. So yes, this is more of a superficial treatment, yet again very effective for mobility and your flexibility enhancements. Oh, there's so much mid-back stuff too. We'll save that for another time though, definitely. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can you describe to me changes that your lower back's going through, changes that your shoulder has gone through?
More mobility and less pain, so that's perfect.
We're here for a reason, I love it. Now I have one more crazy tool to show you and we'll finish up with that. Yeah, let's go do that. This is my Zimmer M-Field Pro. What's this gonna do? It's gonna create nerve contractions and action potentials to fire, creating muscles to contract. Put your hand on there. It's totally different. It's not gonna hurt you. It feels really different. It's weird. When I get to your shoulder. So you see what a nerve contraction does. Come a little closer. So you see what it's doing to your muscles. It's contracting. So to activate a muscle, whether it's pre or post surgery or pre or post treatment like that, you're activating the strength back into it. There's only one spot you never want to do with a magnet, would be your heart, would be the lower aspect of the chest here, okay? But the upper half is okay. And you're really connected. Your muscles and your nerves are very strong and connected. So you see even biceps working. This one's kind of mean. You have a nerve going right here, so it's going to create this weird little contraction. So applying it there has to be a need for you to want me to do this to you. So to come around this way a little bit more, we're going to do a little bit upper back and neck. It feels like a taser, does it not? Come a little closer back to me. Now down here. I have a lot of fun with what I do in my office. I'm not here to hurt you.
I see that.
Put your abs up against
I'm not sure for the abs.
Well, you got this. Here, come. That's good. So
okay.
Come a little closer. I only got so much room there. Yeah, so you see how you control those nerves and the muscles to work the way you want to. The hip flexor is a really mean spot. It goes down to your toe. If you want to try that. I'm having too much fun. You see what it does to my quad right there. Pick your leg up like this. So it's going to extend your knee. So hold your leg just bent like that. That just contracts that nerve, so it fires the quads. You see how when you fire the nerve, you're going to get a different response. You want to try any more of this? Is that good?
No, I'm good. You want to try?
Bring it to the camera. Love it. So Julian, can I ask you, what was your favorite treatment that we did here today? What was you think the most valuable and beneficial? Just as much as the soft tissue could have been just as good as the low back stretching.
It was the stretching with the
back.
The back. When you put the straps on my
the ankles, the flexion distraction.
The flexion, you know.
For a spine that has pancaking abilities, we want to take that pancake and open it up and hydrate that. So that was the #1 reason. What was the least favorite?
I think this one.
That's okay.
I hate this one.
It's not for everybody. I'm glad you got to try everything, Julian. It was a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing you again and see your success, okay?
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I will come back for sure. Like, what do you recommend the treatment for me? Like every month or once a month?
So we can talk about the shoulder being one treatment area and the lower back being another.
Okay.
For ease of convenience to get here and whatnot, I would say if you had pain, you come in once a week until the pain is more of a mild appearance, down to 1, 2, or 3 pain. Once the pain is down there, I might see you every other week, okay? However, function is more important than pain. If you still can't lift overhead without pain, I would still come in and get treated weekly. That issue should come down significantly. So doing that Indiba to it, whether we mix this up, even do some magnet on occasion, you never know what it is that you're looking for. But if I have the medicine for you, I'd be happy to see you as well. So anybody here watching the video, if these machines look like they hurt or felt so good, the conditions that you present with, I'm here to fix and make you better, okay? So appreciate everything.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you guys again soon, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome.